In order to understand the problem, we must first understand the cause. Between 1975 and 1979, Cambodia was ruled by the communist movement Khmer Rouge, led by the dictator Pol Pot. Within days of coming to power, the Khmer Rouge forced the entire population of Phnom Penh and provincial towns, including the sick, elderly and infirm, into the countryside to work as slaves for 12 to 15 hours a day. In an attempt to engineer classless peasant society, the movement took particular aim at intellectuals, city residents, ethnic Vietnamese, civil servants and religious leaders, incarcerating anyone who defied their orders. It is estimated that 1.5 million Cambodians, of a total population of 7 to 8 million, died of starvation, execution, disease or overwork. After they were liberated, people began to make their way back to the cities. This led to overcrowding and poverty due to lack of employment opportunities, presenting the whole host of problems we see today. The effects of this period are still being felt, and it brings Cambodians a social pain that continues to tear them apart. Our connection to Cambodia has come through Amanda Liddell. Amanda has travelled to Cambodia on numerous occasions. She runs a program aimed at young women which teaches them about their self-worth. We just love the way Amanda uses simple examples to demonstrate her points. She shows them a $1 note, then she folds it and asks whether the value of it has changed, just because it is no longer pristine. She asks them to look in the mirror and talk about what they see. This can be confronting for some, but she reassures them that they are beautiful. The end of each program is celebrated with a beautiful cake. The locals love being involved. For them, Amanda signifies hope, and they are drawn to her. On her many visits, Amanda has personally funded some of the children's uniforms, wages for the English teachers, and even the rent for a beautiful couple named T and Darby. It is difficult to establish who is trustworthy in Cambodia, a place with a considerable amount of corruption. But Amanda has managed to immerse herself in the community and has identified some key community leaders. These are the people she has introduced us to, people on the ground who spend their time trying to improve the lives of people living in the slums. After a lovely traditional lunch with So Chiat and her family, we helped pack bags filled with rice and the toiletries we brought with us from Australia. These bags would be distributed later that afternoon to the 100 or so people who attended Amanda's Amor Key project. Stengman Shay is located to the south of Phnom Penh, just a short ride by tuk-tuk from our hotel. It is the former home of the city's largest municipal garbage dump. It has since been closed as it was regarded to be a major health hazard as well as an eyesore. Around 2,000 families currently live on the outskirts of the former 100-acre garbage dump. 600 of them are children. They historically live here because desperation forced them to set up their home on the site so they could scavenge and forage through the garbage selling anything they found to be of value just to make ends meet. Miraculously, the garbage dump is now covered in lush greenery, but looks can be deceiving. If you look closely, beyond the surface, you will see the layers of tightly compressed garbage, which still forms the centre of the community living here today. This is a forgotten community, the one government officials and the general population would prefer to ignore. But these are people, just like you and me, limited by their circumstances. We were struck by the vast number of children living in the community. There were children everywhere. Their resilience is astounding. Everywhere you turn is fraught with danger. Every step you take is a risky one. But still they manage to smile, to laugh, to play. They manage to survive. Sure, it is because they don't know any different. Whilst it's tempting to leave things as they are, to do so would be to ignore the reality of the situation. Underneath the smiles and the beauty are layers and layers of complexity. Some of these children don't have access to food, basic hygiene, education or opportunity. Many of these children are suffering from malnutrition and other health issues. Some are at dangerous risk of being used as slaves, sold off or abused by their own families. The reality is that drugs and alcohol are big problems in this desperate community, and it is the children who wear the brunt of it. Through no fault of their own, these children are caught in a vicious cycle that, unless changed, will see them continue to make the mistakes of those who came before them. Without change, there is little prospect of a decent future. We know we cannot fix the problem, but we can help the community to help themselves. By providing opportunities to them which are sustainable, the people of Stengman can slowly rise above their circumstances and start to rebuild their lives. We can't help them all, but we can help some of them, and that makes us feel like we have made a difference. The Udong community, led by Pastor Sim and his wife, is a beautiful community which holds hope for those willing to make a change. Located about an hour's drive from the city is this lush green area surrounded by hills and lotus ponds. Here the air is clean and people work hard to improve their lives. Sim was stationed in Stengman in his early days as a pastor. Being sent here was like being condemned for a crime. By his own admission, in his younger years Sim was a bit of a gangster, so it is easy to see why he thought he was being punished. But truth be told, Sim was fulfilling his purpose and had the capacity to turn things around. Sim was able to get some funding from Western benefactors. He built some houses and a school and lined up some work. He then moved 30 families out of the slums in Stengman to Udong. 20 families stayed, 10 could not adjust to their new lifestyle and returned to the only life they knew. At the centre of this community is a daycare centre and a school. The long hours and low cost enable parents to go out and work and know that their children are being cared for. The children eat, sleep, are bathed and educated during the day. But the school is at risk of closure as current funding comes to an end due to the age of the benefactors. It costs $35,000 per year to run the school in Udong. Sim has cleverly made use of every part of the land he is on. He grows his own vegetables and has a fish farm. The food is used to feed the children and the families in the community. Sim's dream is to build his own chicken shed so he can grow his own chickens. Now that's music to our ears. He has worked out that he can grow enough chickens to feed the community and have enough to sell at the local markets. The proceeds can then be used to fund the school, removing the need to rely on external funding. The houses in Sim's community, whilst very basic, are a big improvement compared to the ones in Stengman. These houses were built by foreign donors. They are safe and strong. We were invited into some of these homes. They basically consist of a couple of rooms, a toilet, a kitchen area, but they still only have one bed with no mattress. The whole family sleeps on the one bed all together. But for them this is home, and compared to where they've come from, this is paradise. The week we spent in Phnom Penh was eye-opening to say the least. We were privileged to travel with Amanda and to meet real people with real plans to make a difference in their community. Sure, we gave to them, but in return they gave us so much more. They gave us life lessons in humanity, in humility, in gratitude, and in finding happiness and beauty in the most unlikely of places. What we found was a land of stark contrasts, of unpleasantness and sheer beauty, rich and extremely poor, a land that is as depressing as it is inspiring. We can choose to ignore what we have seen. We can leave it up to someone else. But once you've seen it, it is something you will never forget.
And the tears come streaming down your face when you lose something you can't replace, when you love someone but it goes to waste. Could it be lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
Every child in this world has the right to food, a warm bed, an education, and basic health and hygiene. Our trip to Cambodia with Amanda has inspired us to want to do more. Project Overseas, in partnership with the Aim or Key project, has plans to leave a footprint on the ground in Cambodia in a way that is meaningful, sustainable and long-lasting. Will you be coming along with us on this journey?
High up above or down below, when you're too in love to let it go. But if you never try, you'll never know just what you